Welcome back to yet another episode of We Will Rank You, the podcast where we pick an album or a playlist or a childhood memory and we rank it. This week we are going to be ranking the album Going Blank Again by the band Ride. But before we do that, we'll go around and have everybody introduce themselves. I will go last, so I'll just throw it to Dan.
Yeah, hi. Glad to be back here with you guys again.
Yay.
That
again.
sounded like a caller to Oprah. It's good to be back. Anyways.
Long time
awesome.
listener, first time podcaster.
That's right.
Jim.
Hi, I'm Jim, and I'm really worried about this episode.
Oh, no. He's made a terrible mistake by coming
I don't even know
podcast.
what that means yet. I'm so curious.
Adam.
As long as you speak into the mic when you talk, Jim, like you just didn't do, I think it's going to be great.
I'm going to leave that in. So that was Adam that was just talking.
Hi, I'm Adam.
Hi, he's Adam. And I'm Sam. And I'm in Colorado, and I got to choose this band and this album. And it just kind of came to me that I really wanted to do this because I really like this record. So this is Ride's second studio album. I found the band reining in the feedback, but keeping the vocal harmonies, embracing a little bit of their inner jam band. They got a little jammy on this one. It's quite a jump from their previous album, Nowhere, setting the stage for later, further musical explorations. Ride's album output, including their 2 EPs that they packaged together, is so, their journey that they take is so interesting to me. And it's one of the coolest things about the band, I think, who is really known for being one of the shoegaze pioneers. But and parenthetically, this record has some of the best B-sides of their career, I feel. Now,
which I listened to until you told me that it was only 10 tracks.
Right.
Oh, did you?
So
did
you know. And I
totally. Like many times. They're actually ranked. I just have them in parentheses because I couldn't bear to throw away the work I'd done.
I bet you Going Blank Again is actually pretty high.
I told Jim to listen to one of them after he listened to the album. I was like, go listen to this one song. I don't know if he actually did. The face he's making says he didn't.
I don't know.
Which is just fine. Incidentally, that was Grasshopper. I wanted him to listen to Grasshopper. So,
right.
But so
38-minute instrumental jam. So you're missing out.
It's only 10 minutes. Anyway.
10 minutes. Anyway.
10. So the order we're going to do this podcast in is Adam, Sam, Dan, and Jim. So let's use that to be the order that we go around and talk about where you first encountered this album and the band.
All right. I'm going first then. Firstly, the first thing I wrote down is Heathers, which is a movie that Dan and I loved straight out of high school. And my first memories of this band, there was a scene in Heathers where they call into a love advice show, which was based on a real radio show in LA called Loveline, which was on the local alternative station K-Rock. And my girlfriend and I listened to it religiously. And before it kind of went national and they had TV show versions of it, they had a lot of really, really great lesser known bands in there. And Ride was one of them. I missed that episode. But she told me about it. And I said, oh, what was their music like? And she said, oh, it was terrible. And I said, oh, now I want to hear it. Because I knew they were British and she didn't like it. This is the same aforementioned girlfriend that wouldn't stay in the car with me to listen to the end of I Am the Resurrection by the Stone Roses. So I'm like,
awesome. Probably
probably good. Heard Vapor Trail. And of course, fully fell in love with it. Had Nowhere on cassette, listened to it endlessly walking to and from Cal State Northridge. The most trebly album, one of the most trebly albums ever made on trebly headphones. It's a wonder I have any hearing left. But when I was a little late to the party, so when Going Blank Again came out, I was already in, completely loved it, and was trying to remember how I would have listened to that CD. When was I listening to CDs? Because I always think of it was in my car or at my work.
Right.
But I think I only had cassette in my car for a long time. So I wonder if I had one of those you put the cassette in the cassette player and it's got that CD Discman converter. It might have been that. I have no idea. But it was I went back and looked. It was my favorite album of the year. I used to do a year-end list of my favorite stuff, and it was my number one that year. They came through Southern California, and I did go to see them without Jim because he was not converted. he was living up in Santa Barbara, and every once in a while I would go and visit him because it was only about an hour and a half from where I was going to school. So the two of us went and saw Blur in 1992, May of 1992, and 12 days later, I went back and saw Ride, and I always remember that the exact same 30 Brit-loving Santa Barbarans were there. Like they just had that look, and it's not awesome. A big town. And I remember like, oh, there's the guy in the suede shirt. You know, like it was just like, it's such a small thing to be into that kind of music back then, you know? So Sam will talk about what happened the following week, I'm sure. But there's something that relates to me that I'll tell you about later, because you saw them on that tour. Maybe you didn't.
No.
Oh, I assumed that you saw them 4 days later at UCSD.
That was going to be the thing that I talk about in just a minute.
Okay, well then
what was the date that you saw them?
You shook your head. I saw them on the 26th, and
of
on
May.
Of May, and on May 30th, I went to UCSD to see David Spade and Adam Sandler, then unknowns, at the UCSD Price Center the night before Ride and Pale Saints played at UCSD. Summer went, our friend Summer. I know. So when I saw them in Santa Barbara, Slow Dive opened, and it was unbelievable.
Oh my God.
And for whatever reason, it was Pale Saints a few days later. I never really heard them, but I know that they're in that kind of same family. And then just, they've always been a fave. I definitely, to me, I was a lot less interested in stuff that they did later, but I still liked some of it. Saw them when they reunited in 2015 and wrote about it extensively. So if you really want to hear everything I think about this band, Google Ride Live in San Francisco, 20 years and 500 miles later.
Nice. So the how I started knowing the band, where I came upon them, was working at KCR. I remember distinctly pulling the album from the record stacks, and because like the first album, Nowhere, is just a swell in the ocean. That's all that's on the cover. There's no the band name's not on the cover. There's no writing. There's nothing. It's just this shot of the ocean and this swell. And I'm like, listen to that. Fell in love with it, and so by the second album, I was all the way in, like just completely. And this was back when these kinds of bands were imports, right? Like you couldn't get them; they weren't American grown, and they weren't like U2 that had this big marketing budget behind them. This was a small band on a small label out of England, huge in England probably, but England has how many people compared to America? Like, not that many. So it was, so it was hard to get, and it was hard to, discover these types of bands. And this was one of them, that I just loved. And being so much of a music Anglophile, was completely all in. So when Going Blank Again came out, I was super excited. But as Adam was saying, when they came and played Southern California, which I would have loved to see them, I was on a plane to Europe. So I was nice. At the end of May, I was in Germany, eventually made my way to England and was hoping to see like some sort of ads for bands that I could go see, and nothing. I didn't see anything of any bands that I would have been interested in. I was like, okay, fine, I guess I'll go home. I bought a bunch of CDs and T-shirts and stuff, and
I guess I'll go home.
I mean, great. I got great stuff. I got great merch. The Stone Roses singles box set and the Stone Roses shirt, and I got a Ride Twisterella shirt that was too small, but fuck it, I bought it because it was Ride Twisterella. Like, what the fuck? So wow. So that was but much like Adam, when they reformed and came through, I went and saw them in Denver, and it was everything I wanted it to be. Yes. It was a great show, and I look forward to hopefully seeing them again someday. So next up would be Dan.
I even knew it. We talked in the Blur episode about how somehow I was only half in on Blur. Like, it doesn't make sense when you think about the other bands I was into. Like, Spotify would be thoroughly confused that I listened to all these bands, but I didn't listen to Blur. And but Blur, at least I owned like 2 albums. But Ride, I owned nothing. And I knew who they were. They, I mean, if you kind of were into music, the kind of music we were into, you knew who they were, but I don't know what it was. And in time, I went back and got more familiar with Nowhere and, heard Vapor Child. And I was like, definitely, absolutely remember that. I don't know what it was. I don't know why it didn't take off. It's so bizarre. But the second album, I don't think I'd ever heard, guys. I think this is the first time I've ever heard it.
Nice.
At least that I remember. Maybe once I listened to it and I just don't remember. So judgment to come. You'll kind of hear what I thought. And then interestingly, Sam, to your point, they went quiet for a long time and then they came back and started releasing new albums, which was awesome.
Yeah.
And those actually caught my attention and I got really into them. And I think they've made my top 100 a few times. Right. In these last few years with those albums.
Yes.
But even then, just now it's kind of like drinking from the fire hose. I never stopped to go back and listen to the old stuff again, even though I knew it kind of had its place in like classic albums. So thank you to this podcast and to you, Sam, because now I got a chance to listen and more to come on what I thought.
This is going to be an interesting one, guys. Dan, I never listened to this album before.
Nice.
I will tell you that Adam's completely right. Where the hell was I? It was a 4-letter word of a band name from England, and Blur I was all about Blur. And Adam, was the show in Santa Barbara the same place, the Anaconda?
Yes, it was.
Oh my God! And so I think that's the coolest sounding show that I could have gone to that I didn't in college. I don't know why. This has always been the band that my friends are into that I'm like, oh, wow, it must be cool to be into that band. Like I want on that train. Like
right.
when Adam's like turns into the biggest Big Star fan, I'm like, boy, he's so cultured and deep and probably cooler than me. I wish I was him. So that this is one of those where it's like Adam's cooler than me. So maybe I give up. Maybe I give up too easy, and it's like I'm too far behind and I can't catch. I'm too far behind in the race and I can't catch up. I don't know what it is, but never listened to him. Vapor Trail definitely, because Adam was like, whatever you do, listen to this. Yeah. But I don't know why that didn't parlay into, oh my God, let me hear that album. So it's weird. And it's going to be an interesting podcast because I was not aware of, I think Twisterella was a song title that I knew of, but I couldn't sing it or hum it. And so I'm coming in cold, never saw him live. I will say that the album title is freaking cool. Going blank again.
It's amazing.
I will say that that I have not seen them live on video either. I have not looked up any YouTube clips. I don't know what they look like. I don't know what they look like playing. I know about Shoegaze, so I can assume that, right? But I don't know what other bands, and you guys can tell me during this podcast what other bands, made up the Shoegaze movement or whatever, that thing. But I think it's like the, when you do you guys like The Godfather? The first 2 Godfather movies are absolutely amazing.
Never seen them.
I'm ready to.
I can't tell if you're kidding or not.
Is that a joke?
I've never seen them.
Oh wow!
Oh my God! Okay, so
I'm glad I'm sitting down.
We're starting a new podcast.
So my point is I know people that really cannot get into The Godfather because it's too long, it's too much of an effort, and what I say to them is, I know they're long movies, but it's a mood that you just absolutely are absorbed by, and I'm wondering if Riot is like that after listening to this album. Is it just a mood that I should have dove into and gotten absorbed by because I would have absolutely fallen in love. So. We'll see.
Well, going back to what I was saying before, like their trajectory, there's how their sound evolved and changed over the, what's the 4 or 5 albums that they were together, like in the first batch. It's so interesting to me, and I actually had an idea for a podcast before, and I was going to call it Ride With Me, and basically just walk through each one of their albums, and I think that was before they'd even gotten back together. But because it's it's just fascinating to me how they evolved, because like some of the songs, like I could play you a song off of the album that came after this. I can't remember the name of it right now.
Carnival of Light.
Thank you, Crown of Light. I was thinking of the song off there, Crown of Creation, but I could play you a couple songs off there and you'd be like, is this the same band? Were these all the same members? Because it's so different. But
I really hope that podcast was going to cover both Ride albums and Nelly albums, because that would be amazing.
That was,
and the Vines, right? Wasn't that them?
That was not the intent, but now that you mention it,
just think about it. One last thing I just want to throw in, guys. I forgot. I saw them live too.
I was wondering
I saw
about
them
that.
at Coachella when they did the reunion.
Nice.
Definitely one of the loudest shows I've seen.
yeah.
Wow,
It was
interesting.
frigging loud.
Interesting.
Cool.
Interesting.
Well, then let's get into it. Let's start with Adam. So we're going to go rank 10 to 1. We're not going to do an album order. We're going to, worst or least liked track first, and then count up. So I think Adam might need a moment, so I'm vamping.
Yeah, it's funny.
Guys,
For the first time ever, I put them in order and then didn't number them. When you said 10, these guys know I've been so scatterbrained lately with non-pod life.
Planning the tour.
Some stuff, yes. Trying to get to Oxford actually,
Guys,
and not having.
I have that tingly feeling I have every time that I'm dying to know if you guys ranked it the same way I did.
Oh.
I just get excited. This is in some ways my favorite part of the podcast right now, when there's so much possibility. None of you have disappointed me yet. It's so great.
Schrodinger's podcast.
Hopefully, we're not all dead.
Yeah, that's a good name. Nelly
All
should be
right.
on that one too.
I might drop an anvil on your head, Dan.
I'm counting on it. I'm counting on it.
I've got one you can borrow if you need.
Panda. All right. So my number 10 is Time of Her Time. And I love this album. It is probably my favorite of the year to this day. It was that back then it was. And I do not know the names of a bunch of these songs. I definitely had to make notes. I mean, it's not quite the full-on U2 New Order thing where there's a few that the name of the song is not in there, but even ones where they're saying it a bunch of times, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, didn't know. So this one kind of has that earlier Ride energy. It's a little bit like one of their early singles, Like a Daydream, which I love, but it doesn't really have any like super hooks to hang it on, which is that's part of what shoegaze is all about. It's not songy, which I have my own. I'm so curious about what the two uninitiated guys are going to think of this album, because it's not your hook song type band. It's not really what they are, even though they claim that this was their pop album. But Jesus Christ, if this is their pop album, and I love the other stuff, don't get me wrong, but and I would even argue the Carnival of Light is probably even more poppy in that sense, with like more like,
Right.
I don't like it as much, but it's definitely like, okay, here's the chorus. But
Right.
anyway, I went through today and did we've talked. I think we've mentioned it a couple times, maybe not on the podcast, that Tim Burgess from the Charlatans did this incredible series that he still does to this day during pandemic, where he will basically have a listening party and invite people all over the world to listen to an album, and while you're listening to it, the members or a member of the band will tell you a little bit about every song. And so they did Going Blank again. I forgot to check it out, and I just checked it out today, and it was full of fun stuff. And three of the guys were chiming in, so it made it even more fun. The title comes from a Norman Mailer short story. Didn't have anything to do with the rest of it. But Andy says that his lead guitar was ripping off the House of Love. It was one of his favorite bands. He said that when we first started out, we were an amalgamation of three bands: Jesus and Mary Chain, My Bloody Valentine, and House of Love. Then they went on to
I got one of the three.
Wow.
Okay. Then they went on to like have all kinds of influences, and it's like, I saw a great list of literally like 25 or 30 things that were influences on this album, which was great. But that was it. So it's okay. I could do without it. That's my number 10.
Quick question for Adam and Sam. What is this your favorite Ride album?
by far?
You know, it's tough. Like, it's really like, again, like going back to what I was saying before, each record is so different that
totally. Is this your favorite Ride album?
Quick question.
For me,
no, I have to plead the fifth.
Okay, fair.
Right.
I can't even do a for me.
I should say I said by far, and I immediately thought nowhere is right up there with
but
it.
Yes.
But for the uninitiated, when people talk about the greatest Ride album, it's always Nowhere. It is never this one. Shoegaze fans are super into Nowhere. They like Going Blank Again, but usually not nearly as much. They Nowhere is held up in this is their first album, is like held up in such high regard. And the band said as much. Like that's the one people usually point to. Anyway, go ahead.
I would say that this is up there with My Bloody Valentine's second album as like one of the greatest shoegaze albums ever. Like this, I mean, like those for me are the top two. Probably Swerve Driver's a number 3. But yeah, I mean, and despite my hesitation to say it would be my favorite Ride album, to me it's one of the greatest because of all the stuff that's in there. But Nowhere's great. Anyway, I could really, like I said,
this is the one he chose to rank. So
I wanted to have it be an entire podcast of just Ride albums. So we'll keep it moving. My number 10 is Dan, unfortunately, breaking with Adam. So my number 10 is Chrome Waves. I don't necessarily love the minor feel of the verses. The opening, I think, is kind of weak, but the vocal harmonies are great as usual. So I don't have a ton more to say about it. I would say my line is probably above number 8, in that, like, I like all the songs on it, like Adam said. Some of them I like more than others, but the bottom 3 for me are just like, okay, like maybe we could do without those, but above that, they're great.
All right, guys. So when I heard this, like the first and second time, I basically said, if I could rename these guys, I would name them My Bloody Charlatans, because there's no denying the My Bloody Valentine influence. It's all over the place. That overwhelming wall of sound, the drone, all of that stuff. But like My Bloody Valentine does it to the point, and maybe Nowhere's more like this. I haven't listened to it enough. It's like, talk about no pop hooks. Like My Bloody Valentine is like, are we still on that last track, or is this the next track, or like,
right.
Where are we? The harmonies, the relentless, beautiful harmonies, and kind of the popping it up really reminded me of Some Friendly. Like I went back and listened to Some Friendly, and I was like, oh my God, it just totally reminds. And I know they're of the same era, but just actually it was really interesting, right? Like Some Friendly's 90, Loveless is 91, this is 92. Like you wonder kind of how much it's influencing each other. But I just kept thinking of those at their best. And you know what? I'm all in for a combination of My Bloody Valentine and the Charlatans. I love it.
Okay.
At their worst, though, remember when we ranked Park Life, and there were like 17 tracks on that album? And like 14 through 17, I was like, guys, just cut down the album a bit. You got plenty of good stuff here. Like we're down to filler now. Sorry, Jim, Magic America. My least favorite song on this Ride album is Making Judy Smile, because it reminded me of those low-ranking Blur songs. I'm like, guys, your gift is not being low-level Blur. Your gift is My Bloody Charlatan. So go be that. That stuff is like your own sound. You own it. It's totally like, it's way more interesting, I think. And yeah, to me, this was just like a very mid-level, forgettable Blur song. And I'm like, hey, that's not what I'm here for, guys. That's not why I came. That's my number 10.
Cool.
Okay, Sam, you're absolutely correct. Chrome Waves is the worst song in this album. My line is about. I think I like every song in this album above Chrome Waves.
Wow. Okay.
Man, we'll talk about it. But the opening,
you sound really enthusiastic.
The opening
about it.
acoustic, guitar lick. I'm like, okay, where's this going? And then, okay, let's settle in. It's just I'm waiting for this to be over. The keyboards kick in and I'm done. And I skipped it after the third listen, the third time through.
Wow.
I always do my homework, but after 3 times, I was like, I get it. It's definitely number 10. I'm moving on. I've never heard My Bloody Valentine, Dan, and so I couldn't compare it to anything else. So as I told you guys, you would inform me on Shoegaze, and now I've got a couple of bands that you've mentioned, and I'm like, okay, I'm filling out my list. So that's my number 10.
So interesting. And part of the reason I was most looking forward to this is because I know Jim the best. I kind of know a lot of what he knows and doesn't know from this era.
Yeah.
And I remember, he introduced me to a lot of music, and I introduced him to a lot of music back then. And there were definitely ones where I was saying, have you listened to this yet? And then he'd finally listen to it and love it, and vice versa. And with Ride, I don't think I was ever sure if you would actually like this or not. You like Stone Roses, great, I get that, but I'm still trying to rack my brains of something that's more atmospheric. And then I thought, well, you do like OK Computer, and you like a lot of that like weirder Radiohead stuff. So maybe it is within you to get into something that's not as song-based, So that's why I've been like most curious about what you're gonna say.
Oh my God, I can't hold back. You just brought up the most interesting album in the world, and now let's go back and talk about this album. So go ahead, Dan or Adam, with your number 9.
So
I'm gonna use that later too. I'm definitely gonna bring up OK Computer now. I was like, note to self.
Right. I don't put this on the same level. It's different. I probably like this one better, but that's more for sentimental reasons.
Yeah.
But I'm 100% sure that in 1992, when I drove an hour and a half to where you live, I was probably hoping that you would like this band enough to go to this show. But I probably knew that you weren't probably that into that kind of music. I don't know.
Damn it.
But
I'm definitely wrong. You're right.
I don't know. They strike me as the kind of band that if you didn't get into them in 92, you can't get into them now. And there are kids who get into old music. They get into the Beatles, and they get into Morrissey, which is the weirdest one that kids today can get into. And I know, and we have friends. We have a friend from high school, Kelly. Her daughter is a total like damned Susie fan, and I have other friends that are like have raised these daughters to be full on goth kids, and it's like, oh, parenting Wayne. Yeah, Sam has got like a daughter with John Hughes tattoos. It's like it's so interesting to me that that can happen but with Shoegaze, it's like, oh, okay, cool. So when I see 20-somethings into this, I'm like, oh wow, I didn't know that can happen. So all that said, number 9 for me is called Not Fazed. Again, another song that I definitely did not know the name of. Heard it a million times. So this is the first instance of my favorite Ride lyric in any of the songs in this album, and that lyric is A-H.
I was going to say.
They use this, and we've been joking. Me and my friends have been joking about this for 30 years, that their best lyric is And you know me well enough. This song has 12 ahs in it. Yes, I counted. It is good, but I never knew what it was about. So, and it was interesting to hear Andy talk about it a little bit, that it's his anti-school song. I didn't realize, like, Hit Him Again, He's Crazy and things like that could be directed at, like, teachers abusing kids. And he specifically mentioned the Smiths' Headmaster Ritual that he loved, and he wanted to do kind of, like, his own version. But what he says that's most interesting is musically, I was ripping off the early Kinks riffs, definitely that opening riff. And Mark's guitar gives it a Television feel. We were all really into Television's Marquee Moon album. And then I think the drummer mentioned that there's sleigh bells on it, which was because they loved I Want to Be Your Dog by the Stooges, which they covered for years, including at that reunion show. So that's my number 9.
Well, Adam, I don't often say this, but you're right. Not Fazed is number 9.
Correct.
It's just okay, but just okay on this record is still pretty good. It's jammy and repetitive. First podcast episode, we kind of got on the police for being repetitive a little bit. And this one kind of goes in circles and loops, and it doesn't really go anywhere. He actually says, like, to your point about the lyrics, he says not phased, or he says, I won't get phased whatever you do. With so many ride lyrics, I don't know what they say, and then I see what they say, and I'm like, okay, but what are you saying? So I actually did one episode of Ride where my friend and Scott and I talked about Nowhere, and he was just like, what are the lyrics like? And I don't know that it's necessarily strong, but it's a good base for being able to sing lots of ahs. And that's definitely where their strong point is. But I don't really have much to say about this song, so I'll just leave it at that. We'll move on to Dan.
Yeah, when I was listening to this album, I definitely thought about Ghost in the Machine. I thought about Big Country Sam. I thought about your other picks so far. And I'm like, this is so Sam. Like, Sam is a sound guy. He's all about sonic landscapes. Like, who fucking cares what the lyrics are? Why even look them up? Like, they don't care what the lyrics are. I am not convinced they care what the lyrics are, and I love that about them. Like, these are songs that are they're just building an atmosphere, and they do that great. And that's what I'm looking for. In fact, there's a song I'll mention later where, like, I stopped and was like, oh, wow, I can actually hear what he's saying. This is a jarring experience, actually.
Yes, that's absolutely accurate.
When Adam said, the lyric, I went, oh my God, I've written down 0 lyrics.
Yeah, I know. And you always write them down, Jim. Same with me. I wrote down 0. No, I did write down 1 lyric. I take that back. But only 1. So my number 9 is definitely one of these sonic landscapes. But like I said, I feel like the stuff above my line is the stuff where Ride, I feel like they were making one type of album and they were doing that incredibly well, and I was super into it. And then there was other stuff that for me didn't work. I think at least one person's going to be mad at me for this. My number 9 is Mousetrap.
I'm mad.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah.
That's me.
So kudos to Adam if he counted the number of ahs on this song, because it's got to be more than 12. There's a shit ton of them. And it's 4 chords, but I love the 4 chords. I love the harmonies, but I don't love them as much as them because they literally do nothing else for 5 minutes and 14 seconds. Going back to the Radiohead comparison, with OK Computer, there's a ton of stuff going on, a ton of stuff, and we broke it all down in that episode.
Right.
With this, I was like, okay, we're like 4 minutes in. Are we going to do anything else, or is that just all you've got? Now, again, there are other songs where they are super, super samey, but this one it's too bright, guys. The drum fills are going nonstop. The pace is going nonstop the whole time. This is like an amazing restaurant with an incredibly sexy crowd, but they keep the lights on full blast all night. And you're like, you guys, you're ruining the atmosphere. Like, you have all these ingredients.
Oh my God.
Didn't work for me. It was too much. Set the mood. They're great at setting the mood on other stuff. Mousetrap. I kept waiting for it to rise, and it just never rose. It's gauche.
Oh my God!
I can't wait to talk about this.
This is why we need to be talking about the same song at the same time, because I want to rebut. But anyway,
good point.
Okay. Well, my number 9 is Time Machine. What's up with the cool opening part? It's great. And then they say, okay, well, we're going to change that. Jim likes it, so let's do something else. But it's an okay song. There's no problems here. But I mean, have these guys ever heard of a bridge? There is a famous bridge in Oxford. It's called the Bridge of Sighs. I went to Oxford. I saw it.
The bridge is going Oz. Is that a sigh?
Yeah, exactly. The Bridge of Oz. The Hertford Bridge, right? But that's the only one, and there's none on this. Anyway, but it's it's my number 9.
When I address that song, Jim, I'm going to tell you why I exactly predicted that was going to be low for you.
All right. Number 8 for me, as Sam likes to say, is Making Judy Smile. Yet another one. I pretty much. I don't know, like maybe half the album I didn't know, oh, that's that song and that's that song. So I had these little notes. So like for this one I wrote, there's a picture of the door, which I don't know if that's the exact line or not. But I know that when Dan described it as kind of like second rate, more fun Blur, that's a pretty good description actually. But I don't know, that kind of like playful thing, it does stick out, but I like that kind of stuff. So I don't know. There's this thing that we do in a bunch of my different bands, my band, where we're making fun of heavy metal, where we end every single song the exact same way, which is like, bwah, 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 and we call it bwah, bwah, bwah. And so I was laughing because every time it got to the guitar solo, it enters the guitar solo, it goes bwah, 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 and it totally reminded me of how we end all these done heavy metal songs. But it's a great guitar tone. It's super fun. Don't have a lot to say about this one, but I for some reason it's nice to hear them kind of being a little bit playful. So it was my number 8.
Cool. My number 8 is Time of Her Time. It's another kind of good, kind of jammy song, not long jammy, like draw it out, but it's just kind of a jam. But this is one of the many songs, and this is one of my bedrock points about Rise, is that Laws, the drummer, he is a star. Like, so much of Ride's sound depends on him and his many fills and, you know, just how he plays stuff. He holds it down, but he like stretches them out. It's so, he's such a huge part of the band. Like, you know, it's one of those like, I can't imagine Ride without him playing drums. You know, if he was like, I don't really feel it this time, guys, you go ahead. Like, I mean, it would have to be such an amazingly great drummer to take his place. So that's, and I'll talk more about him later, of course, but Time of Her Time is my number 8.
This album is definitely up there in terms of number of fills. If you just count them over the course of the album, I'm like, there's a hell of a, and I like a good drum fill.
Good.
I was like, they really, like, he doesn't, most drummers say fills for every once in a while, like to accent the song.
Yeah.
No, yeah, to him, it's like 1, 2, 1, 2, fill. My number 8 is Not Fazed. So that's coming up quite a bit.
There we go.
I'm guessing Jim's scoring system, unless he has it ranked super high. Not Fazed is the flip side of Mousetrap. It's very similar. It's one riff completely repetitively through the whole thing. I liked it a little bit more. I liked the organ they laid on top. I thought the riff was a little more interesting than that super relentless, nonstop kind of 4 chords. So one spot above, number 8. That simple.
Dan, you love it when we fight. One of your favorite phrases is, okay, let's fight. You're a sick man, Dan.
Thank you.
And so I'm not going to engage, you know. I'm going to be Neville
baiting you.
Neville Chamberlain in 1939, and I'm
No
going to
doubt.
say Not Fazed is the number 8. Not Fazed. You are absolutely correct. I do like that there's 2 guitars on that lead hook and that lead riff that they do, just like the 2 voices that sing throughout this whole album. You know, I love 2 voices singing.
Totally.
I thought that was
Andy
cool
and Mark.
here. But it is kind of simple, and it's number 8 for a reason.
Nice.
All right, fair enough. My number 7 is Time Machine. I think Jim mentioned that the intro, very New Order intro. Those keys are super New Order. And then those twinkling keys come in, and I fucking love those. And it's totally repetitive, but I love it. It's one of those things that, like, we talk about this. There's usually a song on every album we do where it's like it could just go on forever, but there's something about those like really like sparkly keys that I just love.
Are they keys, or is it a guitar effect?
Yeah,
Like
could
some
be
like
either.
warped out guitar effect.
It's really hard to say because there's stuff where I'll talk about it later. Like I learned today that I thought I had to be something with guitar pedals was just something done in the mixing room. So you never know with these guys. Technology. I mean, it's so funny. I was rereading the thing I wrote about their San Francisco show today, just to remember all my memories. And there was a picture of There's a picture of them on stage, and the amount of pedals in front of the two guitarists is like
That's awesome.
Ridiculous.
it's like someone photoshopped it. It is so
I've got those pictures too.
stupid. It is hilarious.
That's so great. They don't even know what they all do. They just hit one.
Right. So you were talking about filler and whatnot. It's interesting to note that this album was actually going to be a double album. They recorded enough for it, and I think their American label said no. And Creation was like all ready to do it.
Of course.
But I guess that Andy says that they were originally going to do like an Abbey Road style medley on side 2. So the beginning part, the New Order part, is a song by Steve and Laws, actually the rhythm section, called King Bullshit, which is a line from Taxi Driver.
Right.
And there's this... So they go into this weird... I mean, the bass riff is really kind of catchy. It's kind of like Dumb Guy, very simple. But years and years ago, I'm trying to think what year it was. It might have been for the second movie. There was a Wayne's World special, an MTV special, and they're on the couch and they play an original song, and the original song is called Pain Cave, and it's like what Wayne and Garth would come up with, a really dumb song. Well, in the middle 8, and Mike Myers is playing like a decent bass on a Rickenbacker bass, and when they go to this middle 8, he's kind of going bang, boom, bang, bang. He's playing octaves, and I'm like, there's no way that like he would be knowledgeable enough. Maybe. I mean, he's into all kinds of cool music, and as Sam knows, his brother Paul has a podcast about music and is like crazy.
Was in a
music
band
guy.
called the Gravelberries.
Right. So they're both total music guys. What are the odds that Mike Myers heard Time Machine in 1992 and like influenced this song Pain Cave? Probably not much.
Do you remember, really quick there, do you remember when you used to go used CD shopping, and like sometimes they would continue like down low, so you'd get low, you'd crouch in the aisle, and you'd be like looking through the CDs for something good. So when I lived in LA, I'm down low in like this great CD store, and I'm looking through, and every once in a while you kind of like look around. I look to my right, and crouched next to me over there looking through is Mike Myers. It was so great. It was such a great, like, LA. I'm like, I love LA.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
That is almost identical to my friend's John Bryan story, which I've probably told you about. My friend Sarah used to go see him all the time, and one time he was leading sing-alongs. This is we'll probably talk about John Bryan eventually in some podcast, but he's just this incredible one-man show, and he was doing a lot of sing-alongs that night, and he holds up the Queen songbook, and everyone's like, yay! And he does Bohemian Rhapsody, and everyone's singing and just loving it. And my friend Sarah is just laughing so hard and just singing, and she turns to her left, and there's Mike Myers singing Bohemian Rhapsody with her. So again, only in LA. Awesome. So the bassist mentioned the bass on this song because it is kind of a cool, dirty tone. So he bought what's called a Steinberger bass. I didn't know the name of it, but it's the grossest looking bass. So here's what he writes. It's something you would never let anyone see you play in public. It's a headless bass. They were like really popular in the 80s. You see those like those little like boxes, right?
No.
He said, you can imagine Mark King from Level 42 playing one. It was a really nasty looking instrument, but it sounded really good. So I thought that was a great quote.
That was Steve. That was Steve, the ride bassist.
That was Steve. Yeah.
Nice. Oh man. I can't wait to talk about that one. Okay, but I will wait to talk about that one. So above here, so we're now past number 8. We're on to the top 7 for me, which these are all kind of the essential songs. I have Making Judy Smile. And that is because, kind of like what Adam was saying, it's more psychedelic than anything else on the record. It's a good jam, and it's just fun. It is one of those songs where you can kind of hear them having fun. It's because, I mean, the songs might be a little druggy on the record. A little? Did I just say just a little?
Sure.
But this one is more, I feel like the way it kind of flows and ebbs, and, you know, just the general instrumentation, it's more of a psychedelic kind of jam to me than just like a straight ahead rock jam or, you know, kind of the shoegazy sort of thing. But yeah,
playful 60s pop psych.
Yeah.
Not like you sometimes use the word psychedelic, and when I think psychedelic, I think like super craziness. And that's not what this is, but it's like
Right.
the kind of like playfully flowery 60s type
Exactly.
stuff.
Yes, that's
it.
exactly it. The
I don't think of that
flowery,
as psych. So.
flower power, like, you know,
Sure.
poppy 60s. Like that's
Let's
exactly
move on
what
to
this is.
Mike Myers' other work, Austin Powers. Well,
Who was in the band for that? Matthew Sweet,
Susanna Hoffs.
Susanna
Hoffs.
And
We
then
can-
what's his name from Love Jones?
Yeah. So
The drummer from Love Jones.
there you
anyway,
go.
keep going.
Throughout
Dan.
this podcast, we'll refer to all of the works of Mike Myers.
Yes.
Jim, I respect that you didn't want to fight. I think you're going to change your mind after my number 7.
Okay.
I think people are coming for me.
Okay.
With good reason,
We're
but
not
go
to
on.
my line yet, by the way. I will let you know when we get there.
Okay.
Okay.
My number 7, despite the amazing name, is Twisterella.
Oh my god. I knew it. As soon as you said despite, I was like, oh my god.
I knew I was going to hurt someone's feelings here. Twisterella is a slightly better Blur song than Making Judy
Blasphemy.
Smile, but
Blasphemy.
it's in the same category for me. So I mean, I heard Twisterella and I'm like, okay, this is a single for sure. But then I kept listening. I'm like, but where's the hook? It's different from the other songs. It doesn't have kind of that drone, that wall of sound. So I'm like, okay, they went for a single. Maybe their label even made them record a single.
Creation.
But where's the damn hook? Like, if you're gonna kind of go in this direction, then go in this direction. I feel like they went halfway with a song that threatens to have a hook but doesn't have a hook, and I'm like, I don't get what the point is. So I liked it more than some of the others, but I don't. To me, this song is not what this album is about. And then I was surprised to find out this was a single. I gave myself a pat on the back, but I'm like, I don't understand. I don't know. It didn't do it for me. It doesn't end up going anywhere.
All right. Jim
doesn't seem too upset, so we'll see. But Sam's very mad.
Yeah, I just, my number 7 is Time of Her Time. It's a good one.
Oh, wow.
It's a jammer. I like this song. That's all I have to say about it. I'm so sorry. There's not a lot. There's not a lot of, I like it.
Yeah.
Minute 1 minute and 36 seconds in when the, fourth vocal comes in. It's
when they do the thing again that they've been doing.
Yeah. Anyway, Time of Her Time.
It's understandable.
Number
It's not that kind of album. Yeah, I don't think any of us have that.
yeah.
All right. My number 6 is Chrome Waves. I had to, and again, like I was pretty sure it was this one, but I still had to write acoustic into dark wave. Like it's got that like shimmery acoustic, and then
That's a great description. I love it.
Super dark, right? And I really like. I like a lot of things about this. It does kind of go on a little bit. There are 12 ahs. Like, okay, we can cut back a little bit on this one, but there's that really cool twinkly little acoustic, if you can even call it a solo, in the middle, where it's almost single notes. And for some reason, it's so simple. It's like just ding, and then with a little bit of echo. It almost reminded me of the sax solo in Maneater, which is just bah, 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 like, so simple. Like to have a solo.
You just ruined that song for me. Thank
right,
you.
Exactly.
I mean, you just ruined Chrome Waves for me.
Which one? To have like the solo is supposed to like take it to the stratosphere, and it really is a great, cool come down. And then when the ahs come in underneath it, that's actually my favorite. Maybe my favorite ahs on the record. Very cool. Andy says. The intro riff is kind of similar to Vapor Trail, 4 similar chord shapes around an E chord, but this time in a minor key. We wanted it to sound like Unfinished Sympathy by Massive Attack, and that's why it has the strings and bells. Never heard it, just listened to it right before. It's got some dark synth stuff. I can hear that. Mark wasn't part of that Tim Burgess listening party, but they had some old quotes of his that they were throwing in, and he says, "I remember Andy playing the chords on the American tour bus, and I was thinking, God, that is just so beautiful." So. Kind of neat. That's my number 6.
That's cool.
That's amazing that they brought some of his quotes to the listening party. Like that's impressive prep.
It's hashtag Tim's Twitter listening party. They've done so many fucking great records, and to have like the people actually
amazing. Yeah.
like tweeting along is so cool.
Yeah. I think McCartney did one. Like I think they've gotten some really big guys too. Yeah.
They've gotten some.
Such a cool idea.
Yeah.
Good for him. Thanks, Tim.
Speaking of cool, my number 6. So Here and Above is these are all my stars. Like, it was really hard to sort from here up. Speaking of cool, my number 6 is Cool Your Boots. It's got one of the coolest song openers ever, which is the quote from With Nail and I, where the guy goes, "Even a stopped clock gives the right time twice a day."
Okay,
and then
what's
it just
what's it from?
in.
What's it from?
The movie's called With Nail and I, WITHNAIL and I. And I've never actually seen the movie. I just know that it's a quote from it.
Total cult classic. I've
Yeah.
never seen it either, but it's always listed on like best cult classics. Yeah.
Yeah, and as I recall, it's just kind of two guys doing some stuff. It's not even like really
Ooh, hey, it's
kinda-
not that kind of movie, is it?
like plotless kind of. What did you say, Jim?
Never mind.
All right.
He's implying things.
Not
as
worth
always.
repeating.
But it's such a cool druggy jam. Like the way that it starts in with, across 50 states of mind. And it just, like, that really sets the tone, because you've got 50 states of mind. And to me, it's 50 states, of course. To me, then it's they're talking about America, maybe being on tour, and you're just driving around the country, and it's so huge and it's massive, especially compared to England, the UK, but it's just like drawn out, and like that line would be schmaltz in the hands of many bands, but it declares the purpose of the song right up front after the With Nail and I quote, and the extended repetitive jam at the end is so cleansing. It doesn't bog it down. It doesn't feel repetitive. It's got, Laws's tom-tom fills, the how can I see stars if my feet are on the ground, and then it jams out for almost 3 minutes. And it's so gorgeous, and it's so great. And it's so great, and it's number 6. Come on. So hard to do.
Absolutely agree with that.
Amen, Sam. Well put. So my line is above number 7. So Twisterella was the last one that didn't make the line.
Wow.
These top 6.
Right.
I know that hurts your feelings, Sam,
Right.
but these top 6, I love these top 6. These are beautiful.
Oh, wow.
To me, this is the core of the album, in my opinion. This is what I loved about this album. There was a very clear line. Like, I was not very torn about that. Exactly where they fell, yeah, sure, we can quibble about like 1 or 2 spots. But so the first one that makes that list of just like the core that I just love is Cool Your Boots. Nailed it. Number 6. The thing just, it crashes over you in waves. It jerks you back and forth. Just that rhythm they have is like this kind of almost off kilter, right? It just keeps coming at you, and it's just right. It's not, as we've talked about in other albums for me, it's not about doing the same thing over and over. I'm all in on that once you get me hooked in there, and Mousetrap did not do it. Cool Your Boots completely does it. I don't care, to your point, I don't care how long this goes.
Right.
Those last 3 minutes are like blissful. It's gorgeous. And, what you said about Chrome Waves is actually, I disagree. Like, for me, as soon as they get heavy minor key, that was the other thing I really loved about Ride. I want all the minor key. I want it to be darker, deeper. That was just the stuff that really spoke to me on this album. So this is the first one in that set in my mind where the drugs have kicked in. All the top 6, like, the drugs have kicked in.
Oh yeah.
We're done with the mid-level Blur stuff, and so this is just a great example of that, and another great song title too. That great song titles,
Yeah.
including the album.
Yeah, I love that. My number 6 is Making Judy Smile. I'm not done with all the poppy stuff. I wrote down, is this the same
think you were.
album? Is this the same album? This and Twisterella is what my notes say belong on a different album, probably. I don't know, but as they hit, I'm like, oh, what a palate cleanser. And what band were you talking about, Adam? When you were like all the songs blended together, or somebody was
On another podcast?
No,
My
it was-
Bloody Valentine, you mean?
Yeah, it was Dan. It was Dan who was saying it just earlier. Anyway, I need a little distinction on, especially on an album I haven't heard before. And I'll tell you this. I mean, you guys know when we do these podcasts and you're learning an album and you you study your ass off and you know every lick by the end of all your study. But if the song titles aren't there, we're talking about Time Over Time, and my notes do not bring that melody into my head where I could hum it for you or sing it for you right now. Anyway, so Making Judy Smile is obviously one I can, but and I'd like to right now. Here I go. No, I'm just kidding. But it
goes like this.
But anyway, it's still just number 6. There's better stuff on this album.
All right, my number 5 is Cool Your Boots, which we have been talking a lot about lately. With Nail and I wanted to see it because of this album.
Of course.
I'd never heard of it. I can't remember if I saw it before or after Summer and I were dating. We might have watched that one together. It's challenging if you're not British. It's a huge UK cult hit. It's mostly 2 guys in a what is it, remote house with no heat or something like that.
Right.
I just saw a little bit more about it recently because there's a documentary about George Harrison's Handmade Films, the company that he owned that made a lot of the Monty Python films. And this was one of the ones that came out from that company, along with My Beautiful Laundrette, which we know from Lloyd Cole lyrics, and some other cool stuff. So Dan mentioned the underwater piano throughout Skylarking. This one has the overdriven underwater guitar. It's probably just like through a Leslie speaker, which if you're not a gear person, which I am not, but I know that, where the speaker in the cabinet actually spins. So it gives it this weird like whirring, trippy sound. The Beatles used it a lot on Revolver and beyond.
That's amazing that someone came up with that as an idea.
In the 60s.
Idea.
Shocker. So
what's the quote? Marijuana doesn't lead to other drugs, it leads to carpentry.
Yeah.
I think it's like a Dennis Leary joke.
Oh,
that's
funny.
amazing.
Whoa.
Because people make bongs out of everything, like an apple or a milk jug or like whatever. Anyway, sorry. Go on.
Great. So before it gets to the end, there's kind of this main melody. Every time I've heard it since 1992, I sing the piano line from Hairdresser on Fire by Morrissey over it. It goes, da na 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 da na 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 da na na. I would go bling 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 every single time. I will never not be able to get that piano riff in my head. Don't know if that was on purpose or not. But yeah, that ending, you already talked about the time signature. Just the energy of that ending is just so fantastic. And Andy says the last 3 minutes of this is my favorite musical part of the album. Couldn't agree more. Maybe it
Very
could be.
cool.
Yeah. So cool. Apparently they were coaching Laws with signs while he played the drum, all that crazy drum stuff.
I think I read that.
That said fast,
right?
Like a sign. Like what a great thing to put
Yes, I do remember hearing about that.
So yeah, his description is pretty great. Like there was also a weird length to every other line of chords. It just takes you by surprise when you're listening. Always wrong foots you. I like that. So love that song.
So when Adam says Andy, he's talking about Andy Bell, who is one of the singers and guitarists and songwriters for Ride, who famously, maybe not so famously because it was super under the radar, went on to play bass for Oasis.
Right. The biggest waste of talent in the history of rock and roll.
Massive.
No offense to Oasis, as great as you guys think they are, for him to be sitting on bass playing like simple bass lines. Holy moly.
Yeah.
I mean, he did play My Generation.
Worked out for his bank account, though.
Absolutely.
Probably.
Yeah.
I just can't believe that when they broke up, he actually went with Beady Eye. I'm like, dude, come on. This is your chance. Get back to what you should be doing.
And then he did, which we're also grateful
for. Took him a while.
The other singer-songwriter is Mark Gardner. And when you see pictures of early Ride, I think Jim especially will fall in love with Mark, because I did, because he's just got like the big mop hair and the big lips, and he's kind of like a 90s Ian McCulloch.
Definitely Jim's type.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excuse
I mean,
me.
I'm sorry. It's a very good-looking band. Very good-looking.
Are
band.
you serious? Andy Bell is Andy Bell.
Yeah, exactly.
My mind is absolutely blown.
Right, but also not to be confused with Andy Bell, singer for Erasure, which is
no.
That would have blown my mind.
Totally.
So my number 5, and I don't want to fight you, Dan. I just want to explain to you why Mousetrap is number 5.
I knew this was coming.
Amen, Sam. You let him have it.
So like the way that the guitars come in are just like that buzz saw. It's just like coming in and just like that syncopated riff, and then it comes in, and then the rhythm section jumps in, but for me the song is the drops, like where the music drops out, and he does like there's 2 parts in the middle of the song. And it's just one of my favorite moments on the album. And then the band kicks back in. It just like the whole band just like boom comes back in. And it's about, so I was listening to it on my drive up. I'm staying up with my mom tonight, and I drove up from my house. It's about a 40-minute drive. And I'm like, yeah, man, I'll put the record on and I'll listen to it. And I think I've mentioned before what I like to do in Spotify is go in and take the order that I've ranked it, and then put it from last to first and listen to it and make sure my ranking is right. And so actually, just parenthetically, earlier on, I moved Making Judy Smile up. I think I had it below Time of Her Time, and I moved it up because I was like, this is a better song. But as I'm listening to Mousetrap and I'm driving up, I'm like, holy fucking shit. This song is about 5 minutes long, and it constantly feels like a car speeding downhill with the wheels about to come off. Laz's drumming helps with that feeling, and it's just a wild frenzy. Like, it's just like you're like, it's going on, it's 5 minutes, and I'm like, yes. And it's fucking like, I can't imagine playing this song because I would be fucking exhausted by the end of this. Like, because it's just all over the place, and it's just crashing and banging and just right through it. It's like when the players burst through the paper, like when they run on the field, it's like that, but for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's so fucking good. This song, this is, and again, like I said, above 8, but all of these songs are so fucking good to me, and that's why. Like, dude, this song is just like insane for 5 fucking minutes, and then it's done.
When the lyrics kick in, I mean, running away. I mean, it's unfreaking believable. Unbelievable.
Back round to you. Bam. Oh, God. It's so fucking good. It's so fucking good.
I have to say, and I wasn't sure where I was going to put this in, but since you just sang, it's been one of my pet peeves for my entire life when someone says, you got to hear this song. You got to hear this song. Let me watch you while I play it for you and hope that you like it. And it's like, even if you like it, it's still awkward, and like, I have to find, there have been 2 memes in the last couple of months that I've seen on that subject that were, I was like crying laughing, and they nailed it so perfectly. But Sam alluded to his other podcast. Only 1 episode has come out. What's it called? Is it Your Older Brother, the podcast?
Your Older Brother's podcast, yeah.
Okay, so you've recorded at least 2 or 3 episodes, right? 4, okay. 4. And then the Ride one is up, and super fun to hear him and our old friend Scott talking. And Scott is kind of like, he's like you guys. He'd never heard it, I don't think. So Sam is basically trying to convince him for 45 minutes. And it is so adorable. And hearing you get all excited about it, I love it. And that's part of like what I love about this podcast, when we all get excited about stuff.
Okay.
But there was one part where you're like, oh, listen to this one part. Oh, and you're singing along, and he sings, and we die. And I'm like, okay, you're not going to convert anyone into loving an album with a line like we die. And Scott had so many great lines. I wish I could remember. I'm going to go back and listen to it. I highly recommend our listeners check out Sam's other side project to listen to this, especially if they love Ride, because it's talking about nowhere for whatever it is, 45, 50
Wait a
minutes.
minute.
Really
when
fun.
was this recorded? Like currently, or this is 10 years ago?
This was a couple years ago.
Okay, because my mind's blown for the second. Andy Bell is in Oasis, and Sam
has another podcast.
What? is going on?
I had this idea years. I mean, like literally at this point, probably like 7-8 years ago, and started talking with Scott, and we just never got it started. Like now, it would be super easy to do with Zoom. We could drop songs in, whatever. But back then, it was just a huge pain in the ass. But so I've got like 4 episodes. My episode, the Replacements episode with Jen Stone, is fucking amazing. It's so good.
It's the greatest unreleased podcast episode of all time.
Exactly. And I'll release it someday. Anyway.
Good. All right, who's next?
Look.
Nice. Nice. We got the looks.
Dan has a catchphrase.
Look, guys. Mousetrap is shoegaze played by the Animaniacs. If that's your thing, like cartoony shoegaze,
cartoon shoes.
That's fine. Like that's for somebody.
By the way,
that's for some people.
It's not a bad show. Anyway,
the Animaniacs was a great show.
Fucking great.
Just, do you want that in your shoegaze, or do you like those 2 flavors separately? I prefer them separately.
I disagree, but go on.
Well, no, you probably agree with that characterization. It's just you're into that. I'm not.
I don't.
To each their own.
My
that's a different
number
podcast.
5. My number 5 is Time Machine. Higher than I think the rest of you guys.
Yeah.
Because I like my shoegaze dreamy, atmospheric, and really, really like I want to get into the dark minor chords. And I love how Time Machine builds. I feel like they don't really do this on the other songs where you have kind of each instrument coming in after each other and it starts to build. And then comes in that bass. And Jim, here's how I knew you were going to rank it low. That bass that Adam described so well is basically the bass from Screw.
Yes.
That is the bass from Screw by The Cure. That same bass that like wants to eat your head off. I'm like, not going to do well with Jim. He does not like aggressive bass. Jim wants like smooth, silky bass.
oh my god.
But that bass totally kicks in. And even the acoustic guitar that builds on top of it, to me, had Cure hints of Cure, like maybe a Kiss Me style, like something off that album. Like not any particular song, but just the way it's picking da na 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 na. And just this song to me had a lot of different pieces going on, and they all played off each other, and it felt much more varied and textured than a lot of the other stuff. And so this one really just took me along. I was totally into it.
That's great.
Ride was one of Bob's favorite bands back then.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing they had some love for his band also, for Rob's band.
Of course.
I would think so, but I've never really heard them talk about it. But funny enough, when I was trying to not listen to other Ride songs and just concentrate on this album the other day, I think I was just listening to Going Blank on Spotify. I was looking to see what else they had on Spotify. There was a Robert Smith remix of Vapor Trail that came out 6 years ago, and there's 2 of them. I listened to the first one. He put like echo on one part. I'm like, okay, nice remix. And then the other one, totally different. Very cool, very, very cool. I thought I'm like, if you don't already know about the connection, I'd be shocked, but I didn't know.
I didn't even know Robert Smith did remixes.
Yeah, I mean, is that a thing where legends take your songs and do that?
They did Mixed Up. They re-released Mixed Up a couple years ago. The 3rd disc of the remixes is all him doing remixes of his own of the Cure stuff. I think
I get that.
I think I'm right on that.
Yeah, interesting.
So my number 5 is Cool Your Boots. I wrote down, I think somebody said it before, the last 3 minutes of this song are the best on the entire album.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I just copied that from one of the anyway.
But you're right.
The bassist of Oasis said that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Anyway, it is fucking great, and you guys have said it all before, so we can go on. Adam.
Fair enough. My number 4 is Twisterella. And like other albums that we've talked about, this album has a epic opener into a super poppy second song.
Yes.
Right? The Cure, Stone Roses, Smiths, maybe one other one. I can't remember. But kind of a cool thing to do, and they definitely do that here. I have danced to this song so many times at Britpop night in San Diego that our our friend Daniel, who did our closing credits on one of our episodes, he has pressed play on that many, many times, and it's so great. And it reminds me of the video, which is this really cool stylized black and white video meant to look like an old Who clip from the 60s. Reminds me a little bit. There's a Sloan video, and I'm gonna blank on the name, where they did the same thing. They black and white.
No pun intended.
Oh, I missed it. What did I say?
You were going blank again?
Yeah, exactly.
On the Sloan video?
Damn it.
Fell right into that.
So very cool looking video, which interestingly enough, and I'd never watched it until tonight, but I think maybe I knew that it was a reference to an old movie. Twisterella was a 1963 movie. We mentioned, I can't remember the name of it, but whatever the clip that opens Queen is Dead comes from. It comes from a series of movies that they refer to as kitchen sink movies, and this is another one of those. And it's a aspiring singer, and in one scene of the movie, he's at this big ballroom, and the band plays his new song called Twisterella.
Twisterella, she hasn't got a fella. The kids all have a ball.
Hey, Twisterella. Eh? It's my song, me and Alpha wrote it.
And the chorus of it is what they sing at the end of the Ride song. I had never heard that.
Wow.
So dance with Twisterella. That's actually an old 60s song. Had no idea. Very cool. So here's my weird story about Twisterella, and it's semi-embarrassing, but strange nonetheless, which the way the internet is.
We're with you. Go on.
When I went to England in 1993, I bought a ton of merch. I bought posters. I bought VHS tapes. I bought you name it. What did I say? Shirts, tapes, posters.
Chickens.
Yeah, those three. And
Shoes.
One of the things that I'm pretty sure I bought it there was a huge Twisterella poster. So, so when Summer and I lived together, she loved this band, and this was up over our bed, huge.
Yeah.
So these photos were taken by a guy named Jock Sturgis, and
oh wait, this is the part of the podcast where I say that Adam's showing us stuff. He's showing us the covers of the singles that you can't see.
Right. These are black and white photos of kids, which kind of lend itself to like this kind of dreamy stuff that they do. There's another one. There's a Japanese collection of theirs called Grasshopper that also has another one of Jock Sturgis's photos. So when they got back together in 2015, they put up a website, and all us nerds were so excited, like, oh my God, they're getting back together. And they put together this really cool website, which had this like insane collage of photos as the background which the text went over, and in that they had some uncropped versions of these photos that I've seen, and I love outtakes of photos I've seen a million times. It's like my obsession. I talked about Johnny Cash's middle finger in the last episode. Same thing with this. So it had a couple of these pictures, and it had just like an extra couple inches. I was like, oh, that's so great. So that's the kind of stuff I post on my website, right? So I post it, and Facebook glitches a million different ways, and it didn't work. I'm like, okay, I'll do it again. Try it again. Didn't work. And then I do it again, and it shuts down Facebook. And when I go back on, it says, you have violated our standards. And I'm like, oh, shoot. This is how Pete Townsend felt, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all of a sudden, I'm a child pornographer. So I had no idea who took the photos. I didn't know his history. I didn't know anything. So, of course, I look him up. And these pictures were taken at nudist colonies in Northern California and France. I always thought that they were young boys, which is fine either way. But like, if you're really going to worry about whether there's a nipple or not in America, if it's a little kid, a boy without a shirt on, you can be it, but if not a girl. So those are girls. I had no idea. Misty, Dawn, and Elisa is the name of the photo. So that was my strange.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
wow.
Very weird.
I always thought the Twisterella. I always thought the Twisterella single was a boy. The other one, I feel like, is more clearly a girl. But
yes.
I mean, but it's that also that thing of like, you know, long hair, shirtless, young. Like, how do you know? But yeah.
I don't. But anyway, but as far as the song goes, I love it. It is probably the most poppy song on the album. And as much as I don't disagree with where Dan put it, I have to agree that like it's not a super hooky radio song. Like they're like, oh, this is our pop album and this is the poppiest song on it. Well, okay, but like it's catchy, but it's not in a way that's like gonna break them. It's not gonna like top 40 or
Right,
whatever.
right.
But it's great.
Totally,
It's great.
yeah.
And it's like you guys have said a couple times like, oh, these belong on a different album. No, that's not how I feel. Like I like when stuff is a little bit crazy and a little bit poppy. That's like my favorite thing in the world. If it's hooky and super weird, that's like that's my favorite thing. So this doesn't get super weird, but it's a great little tune.
Can't wait till we talk about Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me by The Cure.
Oh.
Hooky and weird, here you go. My number 4, yes, Dan, Time Machine. Time Machine
Dan.
is a no. I'm absolutely agreeing with you. Time Machine is a fucking great song. It's got such a great intro, like the fake of the slow, and then the clicks, like the drumsticks, and then that fuzz bass kicks in. Like fuck. I mean, every time I will love that. I will fall for it. I will love that song. I will rank it high. I mean, it's so good. And then the guitars end up layering on top. It's so masterful. But then who'd have thought with that bass coming in, that electric fuzz, that they would end up placing the acoustic melody on top of that. It's so good. It's, it's just like that,
So good.
that little picking, and then it ends up like, doing the chords. But the way they've mixed it is so far up, and it's so clear, and it's so beautiful right on top of it. And they just like the bass comes out, and it's just like that boom, boom. And then as the other instruments come in, it just moves a little bit more back and a little bit more back. And then you've got the acoustic on top, like right out front. And then the bass is back, and you hardly even notice it, but it's still going there. And more great vocal harmonies. I love Time Machine.
I knew it, Sam. You and I are the two biggest Ride fans of all time.
All time.
And we have the exact same taste.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes, all time.
Nailed it.
Except for Twisterella. Fuck.
There's got to be one. There's got to be one.
Well, okay.
All right. Am I last on this one? I might be last. My number 4 is Timer for Time. And
Wow.
I get why you guys had it ranked lower. It does fit with a bunch of the others that are just kind of one thing repeated over and over. But I just fell hook, line, and sinker for this one.
Yes.
That guitar riff, da-na-na-na-na-na-na, like it just... that was in my head. Every album seems to have the one song that breaks through and is the one when I'm taking showers that just like gets stuck in my head. That was this.
I can
And
see
this
it.
song, Sam, you always talk on a lot of the albums about the song that you had ranked low. And as you went, as it got closer to podcast night, like it just started rising with a bullet. And this was the one I'm like, I just keep getting hooked, and I'm just into it. I'm into it without the logic laid out of like, well, it's exactly because the guitar does this and the whatever. It's
just a
it's a little bit
feeling.
heavier than a lot of them. It's moodier. It's hazier. It's got all of those things. And sonically, it starts to get a little more interesting towards the end. This was just one that like couldn't be denied, and somehow it bust its way up higher than I expected, and ended up at number 4.
We should start a beer podcast. It's moodier, it's hazier, it's the best IPA. It's the best IPA I've ever. Okay,
This song has a high IBU count.
I was listening to Dan describe that, like that part, and I was like, and I was thinking of our Twitter fan, Panda. I'm like, Panda's going to love this podcast. They're absolutely going to love this.
all right. My number 4 is
Yeah,
Mousetrap. I think I've said everything I want to say about the song. It's freaking great. It's number 4
say
for a
more.
reason. No, it's on a great album, and it's number 4 on that album. That's all I have to say. All right. Moving on. There's only 2 songs, guys, that have not been spoken about. We are building to 2.
Yeah, you're right.
Anyway.
Wow.
Yeah. I've been
Anyway,
waiting on that.
go ahead.
Fascinating.
Go ahead, London.
Well,
Good. Then, so I haven't offended anyone too strongly so far.
I mean, your
Twisterella
number,
being that low, absolutely, you've offended me.
Yeah.
Go on.
Your
Gotcha.
number 4 was my number 10, but that's
Check.
cool. I still like it. So my number 3 on the heels of Jim is Mousetrap. And I wasn't sure if Sam was going to mention it or not, but part of the reason I know Sam is because of this song. We mentioned it before. I got to guest DJ on 91X at the end of 1992, and I was playing a bunch of his favorite songs, and this is one of the songs that I played that day that he was like, oh shit, this guy likes Ride. I'm not. Maybe I shouldn't mention one of the first things that we talked about. I'm trying to look at you for cues.
Go for it.
Okay. Well, Sam mentioned he bought a lot of stuff in England. Well, I bought a lot of stuff in England too, and a lot of those things were VHS tapes, which you can't play in America. It's a different system. So PAL tapes, you would need to take it somewhere to get converted. Well, guess what? The Gimbal family business is tape duplication. So for years when I did tape trading, I could trade with people overseas and get all this really cool stuff, and had bands sending me their stuff. Like I converted stuff for the Posies and whatnot.
What?
But, one of the things that he had was Ride live at Brixton, 92.
Yeah.
And also the Stone Roses at Blackpool. So I converted those two so I could see them too. I was like excited to see
and
them
also
too.
I think I also bought the OMD Crush tape there.
Nice.
Very possible. Very
Yeah.
possible. I don't remember that as much.
Sure.
You guys talked about I love that album, but like not as much as you. I'm sure that's a future episode, but we'll save that.
We'll hold
yeah,
off.
the come down that you referred to. Yeah, it's like driving, and then that great little descending riff. Was kind of surprised to hear an almost identical riff on the new Red Cross album that came out a couple of years ago on a song called "What's a Boy to Do." I had to re-listen to it yesterday and go, is it? It's close. It's not exact, but good anyway. But to Dan's point, it is a lot of the same. There are 16 Oz. If you were curious,
I knew it was more than 12.
Having
Yeah,
big country
yeah.
flashbacks. Oh my God.
Right, totally. They could have cut back on those a bit, and I would have been fine with it. But I love it more for nostalgia reasons, probably. I was so into this band, and pre-YouTube, didn't have MTV. I would sometimes stay up and watch. There was a Friday night video show, I think, that was on like ABC, NBC, like one of the big.
I think ABC.
Okay, and they would have guest hosts. Well, one night, Ben Stiller and Janine Garofalo from my favorite TV show at the time, The Ben Stiller Show, were hosting, and they were playing highlights from the '92 Reading Festival, which is my fucking dream, right? And I'm watching all these incredible clips on, and the two I remember most were Smashing Pumpkins doing "Bury Me," which I cannot recommend looking up on YouTube enough. They were apparently like completely wasted, but one of the few songs that they got through was this insane version of "Bury Me" where Billy breaks a string and still plays incredibly and changes it. But
Nice.
they showed Ride doing Mousetrap, and it was like probably the first time I'd really seen a clip of them playing to a huge crowd, which has always been like my fantasy, to go to England, be in that big crowd, see a band I love, and to watch them doing Mousetrap on the show at like 1 a.m. I'll never forget it. It was so great.
A big crowd where they bounce the right way, up and down, not side to
Oh
side.
my God. Yeah, exactly.
Or in a circle.
So, but even though there are too many Oz, it was, I loved hearing you guys talk, and I was wondering when we were going to talk about their lyrics, which are, there's some other band that we did, maybe it was, where it's almost wallpaper.
Yeah.
But way more so here. Like their lyrics almost like just sort of like fit in with the mood. Like it's describing the music almost.
Totally.
In
1000%.
some ways. So I never really cared what it was. And sometimes little phrases would creep out. But nothing that ever was like, oh, that's a really good line, like ever. But on the very next album, you've got Blackbird flying in the sky, please don't look me in the eye. And I was like, okay, can we go back to not knowing what you're saying and just saying for 10 minutes? Because I'm totally okay with that. Love it. So here's what they had to say really quickly. Andy says, the riff for this was me trying to be Pete Townsend, and Mark wrote a song around it. This was always an absolute belter live. Blur influence on the guitars, which I was like, wait, 1992. I never thought that Leisure was like anybody really cared about it. So it was really interesting to hear that. Laz says, I was listening to a lot of Led Zeppelin for the first time for the drums. I couldn't stand Plant at first, but grew to like the sound of the whole band. But of course, it was Mr. Bonham that drew me in, and I was learning from. And
Nice.
Non-stop drum fills.
I couldn't stand Plant.
So
like a lot of people.
just really quick, what song are you talking about again?
Mousetrap.
The Mousetraps.
The Mousetraps. Okay. I just wanted to...
Number 3.
Okay, cool. Number 3 for me is OX4. The false organ that comes in. Jim, look at Jim's face. Amazing. Jim's
We're
jaw
top
is-
3 now. I love that Jim's shocked, even though we're top
Right,
3. He's
right.
still, that's not good enough.
Shock and
Not good
awe.
So the false organ that starts and then builds, and then it kind of fades, and then the drums fade in, the feedback fades out, the melody starts, and it's like riding a lazy long wave to the end of the album. It's a great album ender, up there with like Listen and Purple Rain and Sinking from the albums we've listened to. Like, it's a great, perfect album ender, and it's so gorgeous. And I'm glad that Jim got the memo that it was only 10 songs, because hey man, that's Dan, that's what happens when you drop off the broadcast before
Text
we
chain.
before we had talked. But
Guys, we go for 2 hours. I gave it the office. It's time to go to bed, you know?
and I'm an hour later than you. You can.
This is the guy
But
who
you're
goes to
also a
Coachella.
stouter man than me. Like, you can handle it. I can't handle it.
This is true. Dan's got a weak constitution. But yeah, OX4 is fucking gorgeous. I mean, and again, like the top 6 for me are just absolutely great songs. And this is a great album ender. So OX4 is my number 3.
My number 3 is Chrome Waves.
Whoa.
You know,
Wow.
we talked about...
I knew it. I fucking
Wow.
knew
We
it.
That's hilarious. I don't know what that
When
means.
when
talked about-
Twisterella is that low, of course Chrome Waves has to go
Well,
up.
Twisterella's mid-level blur. That's not what I'm looking
Dan,
for.
you're wrong.
It's so not blurry, yeah.
But we talked, guys, we talked about changes of pace. This is the kind of change of pace that I'm into. Like, I'm their sideline
Yeah.
coach here. I'm saying,
Okay.
Ride, this is who you are. I should have produced this album, is what I'm saying. Of
course.
Like, you know, the top 6 are of a piece. I love it. But Chrome Waves does mix it up. It's very heavy on the acoustic guitar. I felt a little bit like there was that Breaking the Girl vibes, which Adam, you and I just texted about recently. Kind of that acoustic guitar that comes in. No, go listen to it again.
No,
That's
go
actually a
listen
great
to it,
song.
Sam.
it's
It
a
is.
decent song. I'll
It's
give
a
you that.
great song.
I'll give you that.
Shockingly, but yes.
and I'm not a Chili Peppers guy, so don't you
I'm
dare
down. I'm down.
peg me
I
as
got,
one.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
But that just kind of that treble heavy, actually, acoustic guitar, that very high acoustic guitar, and then they layer the strings over it, which turned off Jim, and he hit skip. But
Horrible.
to me, this was the break I was looking for that still fit the mood of the album. This, I don't know, this felt like a more accessible song on this album without going into what I felt was this very different mode of Twisterella and Judy Smiles and all that kind of stuff. So I dug it. Number 3.
Good points.
What am I at? Number 3? Twisterella.
You should be.
Yes.
You should be talking to the mic.
I think I heard this one back in the day. I think this is the only song that I heard.
Twisterella?
Previous to this. So it's a toe tapper. I like it. I already talked
It's a
about
toe
it.
tap.
It belongs on another album. I love what Adam said, where it doesn't, it's not REM's Stand, where it's gonna break them into the top 4. You know what I mean? I like that.
Right.
It's still
Or be
in
an
the
albatross on their neck for the rest of their career.
Yes, exactly. It's my number 3. I can't wait to talk about the next 2. Let's go.
All right. That brings us to my number 2, which is...
Wait. Oh, no. Never
Oh.
mind. We don't. I was going to say we all had the same top 2, but we don't
No.
because Sam broke one.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
We do not. 3
Okay.
of us do, I think, Jim.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's
Chrome
correct.
Waves.
Wow.
Chrome
such
Waves
a
was like,
rebel.
ooh, there's something different here. And there's one other one? Okay, good to know.
Let's see if we go in the same order here. This is going to be fascinating.
Okay.
Guys, I'm more excited than I was at the beginning.
All right. My number 2, I always think of as the Baka Baka song because, come on, that intro, that We Don't Get Fooled Again, amazing, Leave Them
We
All
Don't Get
Behind
Fooled
intro. I mean, they said it themselves. Like, it's not really what they were going for, but once they put it through whatever studio trickery, it was actually a Hammond organ playing that. So good. There are 6 Ahs in this, the least of any of the Ahs songs. And funny enough, they like front stacked the Ahs. It's like 4 of the first 5 songs have an Ah. None of the others do, strangely enough.
Really?
Okay, we've had it enough. But again, this was going to be a double album. This was going to be, they did a whole lot of editing, but still, worked bits of other songs that they didn't stick with into other parts, which we've kind of heard about.
Right.
I always think of them putting that loop on before they came out in Santa Barbara. And
Yes. Very cool.
Me being so excited to see them, and up comes that. And there's only like maybe 40 of us there, and we just start pogoing. They're not even on the stage yet, and we're freaking out.
This is
There's
the
only
smallest
40 people in the whole fucking place.
Yeah.
Maybe 35, maybe 30.
fuck.
There was like nobody there.
Yeah.
They weren't on the radio.
That's
This is a tiny
fucking
town.
insane.
Tiny
Don't
town,
worry.
and this is
So
this
great.
is a
I get it, but fuck.
This is in a college venue, and nobody's listening to them.
Oh my god.
It's amazing.
So it's one of my favorite concert openings of all time. I was like, do I listen to the album one more time today? Because I was like, I was doing my stretches like every morning. I'm like, I'll put them on live at Reading Festival. And to hear that reaction to a field full of British people, I was like, oh yeah. So in my mind, and what I wrote about 5 years ago, I'm like, they had that loop on for 5 minutes. It was probably only a minute, but in my mind, it took 5 minutes for them to finally come out after like pressing play on the loop. It was a minute 8 at Reading Festival, so close enough. So damn good. The song came out of a jam they were doing at Soundcheck, and they called it B Song for a while because I think it's in B. I'm not sure.
Good guess.
Andy says, we got into the studio and Mark had written pages and pages of lyrics during an acid trip. We sat down together and pulled out the best lines, and that was the lyrics.
Yeah.
I'd got to know Graham Coxon and wanted to get a guitar sound like the early Blur records. His riffs are really bendy, and he said it was because of his Les Paul guitar. The lead guitar just after the singing ends is me trying to rip off Johnny Marr's part in Get the Message by Electronic.
Wow.
Who I
Which
can't
is-
stand, by the way. I'm not a
But-
fan of Electronic.
That's fine. But that little bit is actually
Yeah.
I always kind of dug, and that could be the best musical moment on Going a Blank again when Andy comes
So
in with
good.
Buana, buana,
So
good.
buana,
Yep.
buana.
Yeah.
That bendy note right there is so fucking great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the fantasy that I've always had, me and a couple friends, there was a San Diego band called Serahtonic, and they were like San Diego Charlatans. Great band. And they definitely did the Brit thing really, really well. And we had talked about having a band called Ticket to Ride. And Ticket to Ride,
Nice.
our set list was leave them all behind for 30 minutes, and in the middle we do Ticket to Ride. And my old roommate Joel would be on drums. Seriously, every time we see each other, we talk about like we still
course.
need to do Ticket to Ride.
Of course.
So that ends the Oz. Total Oz on this album, 46.
Wow.
Nice.
I would have bet the over.
Yeah, me too.
My number 2 is Twisterella. This song for me.
At least it's not number 1. That makes me feel good.
Okay. But this song for me is kind of like Bizarre Love Triangle. It's kind of like Strange Love. It's one of those songs that when it comes on, I'm ebullient. I am effervescent. It's so great. Like just from the opening, dun-na-na-na-ba, and it just like, and it's so poppy. And if we've determined anything over these many sessions that we've talked about, is that I have the ultimate sweet pop tooth. If it's pop, if it's hooky, if it's just like major chords and just like whatever, like that is my wheelhouse. And this song just hits everything on it. And like the bass on the bridge, but the whole song. And so much so that when I talk about it, I don't know why this song isn't my number one.
You made a terrible mistake.
When I made a terrible mistake, it probably is. But so, and when I went to the Ride show, they had I took some CDs just in case they were going to be signing stuff, and they actually sat out at tables. And I didn't bring them with me, but the singles, 2 of the singles that you showed, Adam, and I think I had a couple more because I had 4 members of the band. I took 4 different things. I'm like, hey, can you sign this one? Can you sign that one? Can you, And they were kind of perplexed about that, but that's another story.
I am too.
But like this song, the cover of the record, it's the shirt I bought. It's on one of my t-shirt quilts. This song is just, like I said, it's just one of the poppiest, sweetest, most fun songs for me to listen to. And that's why I'm so shocked that it's down so far for you, Dan. I understand it because you're a very emotional, very moody person. So I understand that part.
But do you not like music?
Sam doesn't usually throw jabs. That was good.
I mean, I get it. Like but I'm being sincere. You like the Talking Heads. You like St. Vincent. You like stuff that's complex. You like stuff that has that extra weight to it. I mean, you put Chrome Waves up higher, and I honestly don't mean that as a dig. I mean that as I'm understanding you as you come to music and as a music fan. And for me, it's just simple. You got that fucking hook. You've got those major chords. You're just singing about, and again, any minute you will feel the chemistry vibrations in your brain or her brain, whatever it is, can never be explained. I'm like, okay, pop that acid. Let's go. Let's have some fun, and that's where the song hits it for me. And I love it.
I feel like you understand me well. I've never loved Bizarre Love Triangle very much. Strange Love is not even close to one of my favorites. So you've got me pegged. You've got me pegged.
Yeah. Let's hear it for me. Cheers to me.
Dan.
All right, Jim, you said that none of us have mentioned a single time notation on this album. Here's one for you. 2 minutes and 13 seconds. That's how far in it takes for OX4 to get going. And that is tough when you're ranking something because you're like, let's go. What the hell is the song? I can't remember what the song is. But in the context of the album, and Sam, this is to your point, as the last song on the album, I do love these long sonicscapes they've got in between. And the way this comes out of all of this kind of chaotic noise, sort of this dissonant noise. That's really the word I'm looking for. And all of a sudden the drums start in. And then this is actually, in my mind, the most poppy, singly thing on the album is once this OX4, once like the main tune kicks in, it's just as sweet as it can get. And it's gorgeous. To me, OX4 is absolutely the victory lap of this album. Like they know they've put together something special. They know they've kind of pushed it hard. And now at the end, they're like, we're going to give you a treat. And it's just this absolutely gorgeous. This song is gorgeous. And one thing I got to say that Ride does better than, I don't know if I can think of another band, is when I think of singing harmony, which, Jim, you talked about a lot. To me, singing harmony usually means like belting it out. Both people like singing it out. Like that's how you sing harmony. Ride somehow sings harmony, but they still manage to sound sleepy and dazed and just that total like dreamy. And that combination is so addictive. I so fell for it. But in the middle, they're still doing all these really interesting sonic things with their instruments. Like it's not just samey. They keep like building on top of it. And then this is the one time I did listen to lyrics, Jim, where I loved at the end. I don't know that this is what they meant to do, but that, the last lyric is I'm going, and they stop, and then they go, I'm going, and they stop again, and then they go, I'm going home. But every time they pause, I'm like, they're going blank. Like there's nothing after. They're going blank. Like it's I just thought it was kind of cool,
Oh, I
like kind of
never
tie
thought
back to the album.
I
I'm like, they're
never
literally doing the thing.
Well done.
going
Anyways,
blank.
Again.
it left me with, right? Exactly. Anyways, I agree with you, Sam. This is we've talked about albums that have so disappointed us with their last track. This is one where like chef's kiss, they nailed it. This is exactly in the right spot. I struggled mightily between my number 1 and number 2. They kept flipping spaces. So where we end tonight, it's number 2, but it easily could have been number 1.
Oh, it's so great. I wish I could just parlay that into my number 1 track, but I would like to talk about Leave Them All Behind. When Sam, you announced this album, and I said, okay, I'm going to go for a long run on Saturday or whatever, and, I'll digest it for the first time. And you said, God damn, I'm so jealous of you. I want to be there when you, and so I remember that as I press play, and so it's like 5 a.m. It's really dark outside because it's getting to fall, and I'm starting.
Impressive. 5 a.m.
Yeah, I'm going.
You're a monster.
Hey,
Press play on this and you start to run.
yeah. They're really long runs these days, but after October 24th and the marathon's over, I think I'll go back to normal life. But anyway, really quiet outside, of course. Starting to run in the dark. And it starts slow. It's that opening track that Adam was talking about, that opening keyboard. And I, on a run, you're just like warming up the legs and everything. So you're starting slow too, in the bass. And then the guitar hits and it blasts my ears off because I had turned it up.
Right.
And it's just like wham! And in the quiet of the neighborhood, I was just like, oh my God, what's happening? Turn it down. Oh my God. And it's such a great guitar lead lick. The vocal, 2 singers. And that's when the wall of sound hits me. That's when the warm embrace happens. And that through, it could have lasted forever. And it was a long run. And I don't care if it was, Ticket to Ride in the middle of it, Adam. It could have been 3 hours, whatever. But the orgy of sound at the end, and then you end that. And again, my run's not over and that song ends and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? That was the opener? Like, what is next? And anyway, I love that song. I will always love that song. I just heard the other day. When you listen to albums that you don't know the album, you go in and you do your homework, and then 6 months later you hear a song, you automatically think of this podcast that we do, right?
Right.
And the other day in a restaurant, I heard that Yeah song, Little Shadows. And I was like, oh, that's my...
Great. Go back to that restaurant, whatever it is. That's amazing.
And I know I ranked that song low, right? But I was like, oh, that's my song. I have a special relationship with that song.
Right. Yeah.
This song blows that one out of the water. You know what I mean? This is going to be a special relationship with this one. So anyway, so thank you, Sam, for picking this album. That's my number 2.
I love that.
So great. I love that Sam gets to turn you onto this album
Not
30
you.
years later,
30 years
not
later.
me.
Amazing.
Could have picked it, Adam. You had an
I'm
opportunity.
sorry,
You went
Adam.
Schoolhouse Rock.
He did
You went
pick it in
Schoolhouse Rock.
1992 in Santa Barbara. I'm sorry.
I don't remember how hard I pushed. And in thinking about it, I'm like, what other albums did I want you to like? Because
Right.
I've, in trying to pick the right albums for us to talk about, it hadn't occurred to me to try and pick albums to convert you guys into fans. Love was just a total, accident that Jim ended up loving that. So it warms my heart that I would have not have been surprised at all if you did not like this album at all and we're just like, it's just a bunch of noise, but you loved it, and that makes me
You
very
know what's going to piss you off even more? Our top 5, Adam, is the same. Not exactly the same, but our top 5, we have the same top 5. Anyway.
So cute.
Wow, that's insane. Well, my number 1 is OX4. And for probably a long, long time, I thought it was 0 times 4. OX4 is their postal code. They are from Oxford, like your boys Radiohead. I'm sure they were tight, though I've never really heard much of anything about the two of them doing stuff together or whatever. when it comes to listening to Pandora, which I do a lot, and I have one station mainly that I've put a million bands that I like, and it just spits out random garbage, and not garbage, awesome stuff. But someone told me a long time ago, I think, that or maybe I just noticed that if you give a thumbs up to a song, it plays that one song too much. And so I just don't do it. And this is one of the few songs that I gave a thumbs up to. I could never hear it too many times. Funny enough, one of the other songs that I have a thumbs up on is All Day Long by New Order, which
so good.
Is a little bit in the ballpark as far as like a really nice mid-tempo, pretty song with swelling synths that could go on for forever. Yeah.
Agreed.
This is a Mark Gardner song, and something that we didn't talk about, and we talked about it a little bit on XTC. Here's another band where I love them, and I don't know who sings what. They do so many double lead vocals where they're harmonizing the whole time, or like squeeze. That's kind of their thing too on a lot of songs, that I don't know, and I almost don't care who does what, because it's just so great, especially the first two records. Their harmonies are, you guys described it so great. On the records, they're incredible. Their live stuff could be kind of hit and miss in the early days, and I let a couple of live recordings that I heard early on affect me too much and think, they're not good live singers. And right before they got back together, the two guys did some acoustic songs together in Stockholm, where Andy lives now, or did live then. And I was like, oh my God, they sing amazing. What the hell have I been thinking? And when I saw them in 2015, I was a little bit worried. Oh, maybe with all that volume, they won't be as good. They sang like angels. They were incredible. And they did this song, and they did all these other songs that had synth stuff, and they were managed to use technology now to trigger, cellos for Vapor Trail and big synths for chrome waves and that kind of stuff. And there was definitely keys for this, I'm sure. It's so damn good. I didn't know, and I'm almost a little disappointed that it's about scoring dope in Oxford. To me, it was always like, they've been touring for the first time probably in their lives, never been so far away. And I figured like, maybe it's a drugged out afterwards where he's on the floor and he can't get to the door. I love that. And it always kind of struck me as like, this is my generation's like homeward bound, turn the page faithfully, like you're on tour and missing home type stuff. Yeah. Interesting. The intro, it does go on a bit, but like you said, Dan, it's perfect for an album closer. They were trying to work in bits of songs that they ended up not putting on the album, and that's actually, I had no idea. I assumed it was one, but it's actually two. There's the shimmery organ bit, and then that noise that it descends into was actually a track all on its own. It was a 7-minute version of this really noisy bit of one of their early songs, Drive Blind, which has always been like this climactic part of their show. In San Francisco, they played one note for 9 minutes, just noise like My Bloody Valentine awesomeness. And it was a bit of that. It was a song called Motorway Madness, and they threw in just a little bit, and then this song kind of like peeks in from underneath that, craziness into it, and it's so great. When it does come on Pandora, and my girlfriend is in the other room and she hears that intro, I always hear from the other room, because she loves this song too. Like, she knows it's coming. So great. And I love, Dan, that you noticed that pause. They have another early song called Senin on one of the early singles, where they will just hang the last chord is the first chord in the progression. It just seems like it's hanging on that chord for forever, and I love it. And in this one, they say I'm going, and then it takes 27 seconds for them to say I'm going home. Yep. Like, they just make you, it just goes on that and goes, and I'm like, I gotta time it. I'm so curious how long that I have to wait on that. That's 27 awesome. Seconds. So great. And that is why it's my number one.
Awesome. My number one is Leave Them All Behind. So I've got 1 and 2. The first and second song on the record are my 1 and 2. And it's, as I said, it could probably flip at any point. But Leave Them All Behind is, again, one of the great classic album openers. You know, and the way that they do that and then flip it is, you know, up there with Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me's, you know, the kiss into and catch. It's like, what? You did what? Like, you know, and we've talked about this before, like that gear shift. And it's so great. It's the statement of what's to come on the record. And it's long, it's driving, and it's layered. And I think it's always been their show opener since then, because how do you open a show without that? Like what,
Right.
like what else are you going to open it with? You know?
Totally.
And that's how classic it is. Well, yes, but
Actually, that's funny that you say that. It was the closer when in San Francisco, and
amazing.
And I wonder if it was different when you saw them, probably around that same time in Denver.
I feel like it was the opener because, like I said, like what else are you going to open with? Because it's just such a statement.
That's what I thought too.
And then they did it for the closer. That's amazing. That's actually really cool. Because that's, you know, I mean, to me, that's the flex of a band who knows their catalog and knows their strengths and knows, I mean, like it could be a great closer because it's drawn out, and then, you know, and you just play it off the cliff. Like, that's great. But yeah, it's, you know, I love that song and it's so great. But this is a great album. And again, like the top 6 tracks for me, some days it might be others, some days it might be this one, but I, you know, when it comes down to it, it's Leave Them All Behind.
I've been keeping stats, as you know, Sam, and your top 6 tracks are the collective top 6 tracks from the group.
You're welcome.
Sam paced us. Sam paced us.
You're welcome.
I didn't knock Twisterella down, huh? I should have ranked it lower. All right, guys, it's time to pause for a what's the word I'm looking for? What do you call an honorable mention? An honorable mention. Adam talked about working in parts of songs that weren't on the album. I would like to pour one out right now for the many songs in the expanded edition that I listened to that didn't make it.
Thank you.
Because I will say a serious contender for number 1, folks. A serious contender for top 3, Grasshopper. Oh my God. You should have told me to listen to it, Sam.
Yes.
Guys, Jim, you didn't end up listening to it. I'm just going to explain it to you right now. Imagine this. Imagine that the Stone Roses take drugs and decide they're going to play I Am the Resurrection. And just at the part where the main song ends and they're about to enter the jam, imagine that those drugs turn bad. Okay? They just go bad. And all of a sudden, the song is dark. It's fucking weighty. It's like intense. And they are hearing shrieking ghouls.
Yeah.
This song has so many shrieking ghouls in it. I was blown away. I love that song. So anyways, honorable mention, Grasshopper, blown away.
Fucking great.
Literally, so Sam, great. when I finally got the message, at that point in time, and granted I listened to it a ton more times, at that time, Grasshopper was number 1.
Oh my God.
On my list.
Absolutely.
No
absolutely.
way.
And there's not a word in the song.
There's not a word. There's not a word in the whole thing.
Not an
exactly. No, there's no ahs. They don't even open their mouths. They've given up at this point.
So
I'm like, that's who you are, guys.
good.
That's who you actually are.
And that's why I suggested that Jim listen to it on one of his runs, because that would push you as hard as any other song you listen to.
Oh my God.
Right.
5 a.m. with the neighborhood quiet, those shrieking ghouls, he would have freaked the fuck out. Jim would have
time. There's
freaked
still
out.
So good.
There's still time.
The closest thing to it on this album is my number 1, Leave Them All Behind. Oh my God. Like, talk about, and I thought of Sam. I knew exactly the words he was going to use. It is a statement of intent. When you open an album, track 1 is a boy, is this a statement of intent. Like, that organ comes in, the bass, and just they're off to the races. That heavy guitar. I was positive this is what they opened with live in concert. I put that in my notes. I'm like, this is definitely how they open their shows, at least on this tour. I just couldn't imagine it any other way. It sets that sonic landscape. This is where I got my Bloody Charlatans from, because when they open their mouths and sing harmony, they're the Charlatans. As soon as they close their mouths, they are My Bloody Valentine. Like, this song is definitely the most Valentine-esque in terms of that guitar just goes all over the place. It's a spider web of like madness. It's intense. And boy, does this thing build. Like, I think it's like 8 minutes, 17 seconds. Those last 2 minutes, that guitar is just picking up in intensity. And yeah, you do finish that first song like, where are you going to go from here? But you know exactly what you're in for. And it was great. And that's why ultimately I did rank it over OX4. I just felt like, I thought of Kiss Me also. It's like, you are leaving no mystery about kind of like the overall feel of this. Even though there are some different songs, to me, that is the signature sound of this album.
So just really quick to interject, Leave Them All Behind was the first song of their encore in Denver. They opened with Lanois Point. Leave Them All Behind was the first song of their encore. And it was a 2-song encore, but yeah.
Right.
But
so,
off of that album, I have to believe they opened with this.
Oh,
like
of course.
when they're touring behind going back again.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so they came out, funny enough, Sam, with the tambourine player from Brian Jonestown Massacre.
Nice.
I think we mentioned it on the Blur podcast. Maybe I was saving it for Oasis, but Sam and I saw the Jonestown Massacre open up for Oasis when they first came to America, and who knew that Andy Bell would be joining that band someday.
Right.
So it was an interesting family there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm closing up shop, guys.
It's all you, Jim.
Yeah, my number 1 is OX4.
Yes.
Great opening. Plane is taking off. My notes say yes with about 14,000 exclamation points. I said, I wrote down live, it would be amazing. And then I wrote down must have been their closer. So we'll go from Dan's opener to my closer. It has to have been their closer. I also told you that I wrote down no lyrics, Dan, at the beginning of this podcast, and then I went, oh shit, that's not true, because I looked up to my number 1 and it says I'm going ... guitars 3 measures. Evidently that's 27 seconds. I've learned. I'm going home. And then the pause, and then freaking kicks in, and it's unbelievable. That I love the little, it's the postal code for Oxford. I love everything about it. It's great. What a great album.
That's awesome.
Go ahead, Sam.
No, I was just going to say, I'm so glad that you all ended up enjoying this record. I had a feeling that you would, and I would listen to Jim talk about listening to this record on his runs for another hour and a half. Like that's exactly what I wanted. Like I knew that like running with this record would just like endear you to it.
Mm-hmm. I gotta tell you that.
Oh God.
No, I was just you go, because I got stats at the end like I always do. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm shocked that that I'm going to be the one to say this, because I don't even drink, really. But it has to be said somewhere in this podcast. This album's great on drugs.
It's one of my great like shortcomings, regrets in life that I have not just tripped fucking balls listening to Ride records, because they would be amazing.
Sam, it's not too late. You're
Never
acting
too
like
late.
that. You're acting like that door is closed.
I know.
I'd like to suggest
Do it.
Moonrocks, please.
I need to cue
Do
that
it
up.
while you're at your mom's house. It's perfect. You're in a safe space.
I am in a safe space. That's right. Which,
Do
ironically, there's a ride. Is it a record called "This Is Not a Safe Space"?
Yeah, it's true.
Safe place, yeah.
Yeah, this
Funny
is not
that.
a safe place.
Yeah.
Funny that.
Funny that. Go on, Jim.
Jim, give us stats.
Well, I think I've given them all. I was like all proud, like, I have stats. I laced them in. Not Fazed was last. Making Judy Smile. Then Time of Her Time. Chrome Waves is fourth from last because Dan ranked it third. Fucking Dan. Time Machine. Cool Your Boots, I think, gets a bad rap at number 5. But, I mean, that's the right ranking. But it's amazing. Agreed. This top 5 is amazing. Yeah. Mousetrap, Twisterella, OX4, and Leave Them All Behind.
They're all so good.
Nice.
Unbelievable.
Well done, lads.
Fun one.
So what's next?
Well, I can't wait to hear
next, Jim.
Dan, I told you.
I think I know.
I told you at your 50th birthday party. I said,
yes.
I don't mess around.
I didn't know if you would remember because I didn't know how much you had to drink. But I'm like, I think I've got the.
Ask Heather. You
Dan's
didn't have
50th
enough
birthday
beer
party.
at that party.
Dan's 50th birthday party, surprisingly enough, great on drugs.
What are you talking about? We had so much leftover beer. What are you talking about? There wasn't enough
Talk to
beer.
Heather. I only know what I hear. The food was amazing, though. I'll tell you that.
Nice.
Hey, guys, we're gonna do it. We've talked about it. I always do this. I say, let's stop with the foreplay. Let's have sex. Let's get right to it. Echo and the Bunnymen's Ocean Rain.
Oh, yes.
I knew it was
It's
coming.
the hardest assignment since the Stone Roses. This is going to be really, really, really hard.
I've never heard this album.
Shut up. You liar.
I'm totally kidding.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever talked to you about them in all of our years. So
I have such a great story about this album.
I
can't wait.
I'm sure.
Cool.
Fun. All right. Well, who knows when we'll get together to record it, but I can't wait.
Yes. Ocean Rain. Thank you.
All right. Let the minor key rain continue. Adios.
Right. Thanks, lads.
Bye, all. All right.
Bye.
Adam, that is so funny because that's exactly what I had in my mind was, you set my teeth on edge. You set my teeth on edge.
You think you're a vegetable, never come out of the fridge.
Please follow We Will Rank You at We Will Rank You Pod on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and let us know how you would rank this week's tunes. Sam writes about music on the web at yourolderbrother.com. You can find Adam's music page at You're Doing Great. That's YERDOIN. Please subscribe, rank, and review our show at your favorite pod place, and send us a note with suggestions and flattery to wewillrankyoupod@gmail.com.